with Reggie Evans and Mario Chalmers, Lance Stevenson, the newcomer, and for Detroit, the Amps, Jeremy. On the other side, another veteran and now a Hall of Famer, Koopa Loop. Michael Cooper leading Beckons. The 4-point shot, there are 3 circles, each 30 feet away. If any part of your foot is touching any part of those circles, it's worth 4 points. All right, Scal, away we go. Detroit against Miami. ISO Joe, first touch, leans in and misses. What are you watching for early in this first game?
2 things. The shuffle cuts for ISO Joe to get in the post against different defenders. You don't want to go against Reggie Evans. And the other one is, I always think with Pargo on the floor, if he plays well, his team is going to win.
Beasley, no. And rebound to Chalmers. Entry to Reggie Evans. And D-block with the swat. Chalmers for 3, and our first points today.
Chalmers always gets off to a really cone, and then they'll come in with Lance Stevenson.
You mentioned Pargo. Brian, last week was 1 for 12, but did have 4 assists in that win.
Yeah, and I mean, he has to do more. Like, Pargo is a big part of this team, and you can't ask Joe Johnson to score. He needs to do that this week.
Pargo, Jackson, and Johnson. Long 2 for Tono. Jackson misses. And Beasley, Evans, and Chalmers, guys who played together last year, made the final for 3's company. 4-point range. Chalmers on the switch against D-block, and the turnaround rims out. So there's Evans. You mentioned his presence to Beasley. Off balance, no. A late whistle, and he'll get a shot for 2.
The whole thing when you're playing this team, the Amps, is you got to stop Joe Johnson. Obviously, you know that. But for the Amp on Joe, he'll find his. He's that good of a player.
30 points for Joe Johnson last week, 10 rebounds. His first 30-point double-double for 4 now. Nails it.
That's a deep. Miami didn't even come out to guard him on it.
That's what he does best. Been in the league 6 years now, 3 times an MVP, Joe Johnson. Beasley almost got the bounce. Now that clearly a foul.
And makes an adjustment on it.
And Beasley off the mark on the free throw. A 7-4 start for Miami, trying to make it a 2-0 start. Battle of MVPs. 1 to shoot. Jackson doesn't see it, and a violation on the Amps.
Joe Johnson a little in the lane.
Chalmers off the Evans handoff. Fakes the look, fires, and misses. And off the amplifiers, if you will, of the Motor City.
Watch this play right here. Joe Johnson loves to get this down screen. Let's see if Miami switches it. They don't. He's open.
Fight for the rebound, and a push on that loose ball attempt. Beasley and Jackson going to the deck, and D-block's a comeback it was. They outscored Chicago 32-22 after the break. Down 3 right now. Beasley was stripped, and a foul is called, and it's been a tight whistle here in the early.
So Joe Johnson has 2 fouls. 1 more, and he has to come out for the entire half.
That's the rule in the Big 3. As Cal mentioned, you make 3 fouls, you automatically sit the remainder of the first half. Beasley, Pargo pulled the chair on him, throws it up, almost went in.
Only Beasley would shoot that shot.
Good entry, Johnson with the space and positioning, and Chalmers said.
A lot of early fouls. You know, I hope they're not trying to overcompensate for what happened last week. This Amp team is very different than the LA team. They're more finesse, not as much power.
Mid-range show for 2.
And that's what Joe Johnson could do.
A 5-0 deficit early, but a 6-1 spurt for Detroit since. 6-2 spurt, rather. And they're back within 1. And off the ball, Evans fighting for position. And Houston got in there as well.
That's just foul. You got to be physical without fouling.
Sean Williams in for Miami, as well as Lance Stevenson. Beasley the spin, and the banker's good for Michael Beasley.
Justin was saying something to the official. I'm not sure what he could be complaining about on that play.
Lob to Justin, off the mark. It's a good setup. Stevenson, in and out. Here's Joe.
Oh,
Sets up Pargo. He's way off, but a second chance. Justin kicks it out. Joe for three. Got off the rebound, went off the rim, and it goes to born ready Lance Stevenson. Pulls up. And there's Williams flying in. Lance again.
the threes.
This guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the mindset should be get to the basket, get yourself going. I think almost like the way Beasley has approached this.
The three-time MVP with a chance at three. Joe Johnson with the finish.
Yeah, and 3-on-3, you're going to have... All right, so a little defense to offense here, and that's why they got Williams to play the defense. Lance Stevenson gets an easy layup, and Joe Johnson says, I'm not settling. I want to get downhill. I got downhill. I had a three-point play opportunity.
His birthday is coming up on June 29th as Houston intercepts, but gives it to Williams. Beasley for two. That does not go. And Detroit retrieves. Pulls up for three. Johnson getting going.
It's unbelievable. Every year played in a while, then it definitely is a thing.
Moscow spoke to Joe Johnson before the game. Here he is now. He's been in the league 6 years, obviously. 7-time NBA All-Star over Stevenson, and the shot's good. He's got all 14 for Detroit.
I don't know if I've ever seen this. I'm rooting for him to get 50.
And the record's 35.
Yeah.
Look out.
I've always said this, though. It's great. I think it wouldn't surprise me if he does it, but Pargo does have to get going.
There he is. Right on cue.
He has to. It's like...
Lance Stevenson in and out. There's Sean Williams, but he stepped down. Coming back to that last point about ISO Joe, played 18 NBA seasons because it's by far the most physical basketball he's played in his life, and that remains going back to his debut in 2019.
Yeah, I can see that.
Pargo on the scoop. And a late whistle by Ian McClenny.
By calling a lot of fouls. You know, Joe Johnson said it hasn't changed. That's because he's good. And I've been in the Big Three.
Yeah.
From year 1 to 2 to 3. You're not in shape playing basketball all the time. You can't come here and just come out here and play. And I think that's like a big change from the first couple years.
Here's the rookie, Stevenson. And that misses. We'll talk about, Brian, is the week off. The three, and it's rebounded by Stevenson. And it's like, look, you got one game a week, but those 5 days back in your hometown, as Evans' tough shot goes down, you're really working to get ready for this right now.
Yeah, body work, whatever it is. Look at this physical play. And Evans is always the leader of physical play.
Nice take, and Pargo on the attack again.
Thing that Beasley's on the bench. They need to get a guy that can get going, and maybe Lance Stevenson is that guy. He was good. Lance was good in the second half of week 1.
And there's another one for Lance Stevenson for Detroit, but Jeremy Pargo with the last 7 for the Amps. Here goes Joe. One-legged fade. Gets the bounce.
Man, even his touch. Everybody can do the one-leg step back. But even Joe Johnson has silky smooth touch on that rim.
Nice answer by Stevenson.
Early start, that's all a thing of the past right now. These guys are finding their rhythm.
Gets the break at 25. Detroit on the doorstep. Nice shovel, and Houston with the stuff. And Detroit, after a slow start, up by 8.
Good night.
This guy, I mean, it's so much fun to watch the work he puts in, the focus. He's meticulous.
Oh.
50 moves by Lance Stevenson. And Joe Johnson on the weak side with the cleanup. So you've got Joe, Houston to start this half with Pargo, and then Beasley, who is 1 of 7. Nice backdoor, and Houston with the stuff.
He's overreacting to Joe Johnson.
Reggie Evans off the ball here. Beasley strokes it, and then they'll look to see if that was a 2.
Well, more importantly for Beasley, he sees something go through the basket.
27-19 Detroit Ams in their gold uniforms. Johnson, short corner's good.
Man, he made so many good offensive reads. That time, Reggie Evans, so you go to the step back. Elite offensive player.
He cuts so quickly off the ball, too.
Yeah.
You lose him.
Yeah, when you, like, he guards Reggie Evans out there. Beasley with the
he
4.
needed that, didn't he?
He did. Beasley.
Lead 6, but Houston, nice dive, will shoot 2 as Evans is.
Man, last week, 1 for 9.
The whole league.
Yeah, everyone struggled. Everyone struggled. So far, 2 for 2.
Beasley, I mentioned Houston off the bench. It's been a nice plug-in so far for Detroit. Stevenson, whoop! Nice move against Pargo.
Yeah, and got to the rim. See him right there. Goes one way, it spins back.
Re-entry, 5 to shoot. Joe Johnson, banker's good and a foul.
He is so Johnson's rhythm. So they got to figure that out. And Michael Cooper, a guy who knows about disrupting the rhythm of a superstar player.
Larry Bird called him the best defender he ever faced. Michael Cooper, 5-time All-Defensive First Team with the Showtime Lakers, and finally getting the call last April 1st for the Hall of Fame.
And I'm glad they do that, because it's so many times with Beasley getting going as well. So many times. Right, this is a quintessential Beasley shot. He's going right. He has that drip. A little bit of contact, just a flick of the wrist.
Let's go to Chris Haynes with more on Joe Johnson.
Gentlemen, I was just in Miami's timeout. Joe gets it on me in the post. I need you guys to help. He's going to shoot over me. I don't have the size, so he's imploring his guys to please come help.
That sounds like an SOS. And Johnson against Beasley.
Chris Haynes just told me. I don't know about that. I've been in 11 years of playing in the NBA. I never heard anybody call for help, ever. I'm not sure Lance Steve. The guy guarded LeBron and
has it going. You know, sometimes
I hear you
need help.
I hear you.
With that.
So when Jason Kidd, Kevin Garnett, Derrick Rose, whomever looked at you, you said, I got it.
I did. I did think that.
Now Lance trying to back it up with the 3. Tip to Beasley, and he banks it in. And Miami's chipping away.
Yeah, they are, and it's on the back of Mike's
timeout. Change it to a 3, so there you have the score now. 36-31, and now Chalmers will re-enter from Miami in place of Reggie Evans, so they'll go smaller right now against
really
Pargo,
small.
Houston, and Joe.
Not sure about this. We'll see if it works out.
Pargo the crossover, and some trouble.
Oh, that worked out there.
And Chalmers in the right spot, and Pargo is staring down. Ian Emtel stare.
Yeah, Pargo sort of drifted away on that.
He wants the 4 to get going. Overrun by Houston. Now you got to clear if you're Stevenson.
I don't think he did. You're right, but Beasley just did it.
Going left on Houston. Switching. Tapped in by Born-Ready and flexing the muscle.
How about the small lineup so far? 2 for 2.
Johnson picked up by Beasley, but on the screen, Houston whistled offensive.
Sometimes the harder playing team gets the call. Right now, Lance Stevenson playing extremely hard defensively.
Chalmers slings it to Stevenson. Nails it. And Miami, what a run.
Working out. I thought it would hurt them, but so far it has not.
They're going to stick with it with Reggie Evans on the bench. Joe slings it out, and reversal to Nixon. At the game winner last week, had a layup, but Houston will take an easier one on the baseline.
Houston, excellent. Be out of the corner, catches the ball on the move.
Now we're tied at 38. Well, Miami, I should say. Checked an earlier play, they're down 1. Here's Stevenson. Steps out, foot on the line, hits the 2, and a good shot clock.
I don't know if you could play better defense than that. Legitimate contest, big time.
Houston exploding. He's fouled hard by Stevenson. We got a shot for two.
Old player here, I just get downhill. I'm sure he wants that one back to be able to finish it.
And Michael Cooper's going to bring the fire for the first time today in Baltimore. Lance Stevenson.
I don't know a lot about Houston's game, except I know he's good at going to the basket.
And they say out of bounds, no foul called, and that's it. A stop for Stevenson. Special thanks to him. So great defender as a coach. Likes to stop for his player. Beasley with Chalmers and Stevenson. Yeah, a lot of contact between Nixon and Chalmers, and
they got Chalmers with the hole.
I'll take it. It's on me. Let's move on to the next one.
I feel like Ice Cube has a big influence over what we're seeing today. I've been on those calls before.
Yeah, another whistle here.
You don't really need to set a hard screen.
Clear out. And the key matchup, Beasley, Johnson. Runner misses and cleaned up by Houston. And now it's Joe making the moves on Beasley. Into the lane. Fade away. Houston.
Great hustle.
And Chalmers fouls him.
See if he gives you a thumbs up on this one. Nah.
Seattle.
Nah.
Never.
But I can guarantee you they would have done me wrong. I guarantee that. I can 1,000% guarantee that.
It'd be like Ronald McDonald, red hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Chalmers makes the three.
So my focus is on the Amps right now. They need Pargo to do something right here.
He's back in, number 2, with the ball now for Detroit. Joe Johnson sitting on 23 points. Oh, a whistle on the help defense, and Beasley couldn't.
It's huge.
And Michael Cooper cannot bring the fire this half. He already used it once. Make it.
Yep. Now, and making the free throws is part of it. So now, if you would see the adjustment that Miami makes, it has to be they have to take their foot off the gas a little bit. They can't continue to foul.
Johnson behind the back cross. Pargo drives by Stevenson to the rim and scores.
You can see us.
Swinging out to Beasley. A tie game at 42. Beasley with the step. Explodes baseline. Missed the rim. Working around to Joe. Back for Pargo. He missed the rim as well. Not even close. And a foul on the deck.
Fire on that play.
It was not a shooting foul, and they were not in the bonus, so Red Lobster gets a double dose. Nice and buttery. They put out the fire. It's half, so if he picks up another one, that's a tech.
But the penalty's still the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lands pull up for 3. Hits it over Pargo.
Strumming that air guitar. The big shot, much needed. It's that pull up.
45-42. Miami. Johnson. Beasley, great defense. No space in ISO. Joe throws it away.
Fouling.
Reno, Houston cleans it up. Johnson drives it, leans in, and he's going to shoot a free throw for 2 in a 3-point game.
Much space. If you're at a disadvantage, you're in trouble.
Makes it, and now they'll take it. An air ball. Nixon cleans it up for the winner.
Joe goes wide for the 4.
And Chalmers up for Detroit.
Yeah, he went down. His foot got caught on the floor. I mean, he's standing up right now. He might come. Did he even contemplate? No, he went back down. If he makes it, they'll be up 46-45, and they get the ball back, and they could sub him out. And if he's going to get subbed out. Now, who's he going to go with? They're going to go small. They're going to stay with the small lineup.
And Maybe he'll be a decoy here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is where Pargo has to deliver.
Joe for 4, he wants to end it.
We got to sub him out.
Yeah, that was the one try.
That guy can't move. All right, here we go. 1 point lead for Amps, and they're gonna have to figure it out without ISO Joe.
It's point game for Detroit. Beasley wrapped up and a foul. Nixon thought it was a tie-up, and the arrow would have given it back to Miami regardless, but instead Beasley with a free throw here.
They got a challenge. It's good time to use it.
Right on cue.
Both teams.
There we go. Making him earn it. Beasley spins, hits it. So count the basket for Beasley.
Nothing more you can do on a play like that. Beasley, so much elevation and so good in these short shot situations. That's a big play.
Beasley with 15. Make it 17 now. A 3 wins it for Miami. Beasley for the win. Airballs it, and it lands out of bounds to Detroit, and they can
get a bucket. The Amps got to score.
Length for Stevenson against a smaller Pargo. They can't free him up, so he tries for 2, and he's fouled.
That's a huge foul.
Massive. You make it here in the bonus.
He blew.
Missed it, but tapped out by Houston, and Pargo's got it. Miami in black by a point. This for the win for 4. Off the mark. Beasley shot a 3 last time, drives this time, gets it back. 4 to shoot, and Houston with the push.
50, and you have a foul on the floor, it's not a shooting foul.
Beasley, Nixon all over him. Walks the tightrope, lost the ball, who touched it, team down a point. Miami can win with a 3 right now. Here's last year's MVP. Beasley against Nixon. And the shot clock, he wasn't aware of it.
And I was surprised. Michael Cooper didn't draw up a certain 2. I'm getting a quick 2 if I can.
Back cut by Nixon. Swinging out Pargo. Oh, late whistle and a reach-in foul on Chalmers.
It will be a shooting foul.
Here's Houston. Attacks Chalmers, slings it out to Nixon. Pargo attacks the closeout. Fires, count the basket and a foul.
Yeah, you can't believe it. Huge free throw right here for Pargo.
Missed a couple of big free throws here down the stretch. And Miami 305 can still win with the 3. Lance, you don't need the 4. This for the win. Tried to follow his shot, then stripped Houston off the leg. Joe Johnson unable to continue after making the free throw. His team a chance to win with a 2. It's Pargo, fires. Rebound. Nixon, game winner last week. In and out. Knocked out of bounds. This a big call here. Pargo with Beasley on him. Bounce pass. It's Nixon again.
It's just getting a lot of good looks.
This for the win. Michael Beasley missed the rim. But there's Stevenson to Chalmers. He's made a legendary 3 from that spot in his life, but he turns it over, and Houston slams it down to end the ball game. Detroit wins it in Baltimore.
Houston's a problem for the Big Three. Last week he made all the hustle plays. This week doing the same thing. Great pickup for Detroit Amps.